Welcome to the Magic on the Inside podcast by the Sisters Enchanted, where we chat magic, hot topics, personal development, and good old-fashioned life. Brew up something delicious and sit with us for a spell. Welcome to this episode of the Magic on the Inside podcast. I'm Sarah, founder of the Sisters Enchanted, and in this very special episode of the podcast, I am bringing you some, what shall we call them? Some voice memos from Team Sisters Enchanted, where we are sharing unexpected lessons that we've learned about ourselves through astrology and how that's helped us and transformed us. So you're going to hear from a few of our team members today, and I hope you get to know them a little bit better and walk away with some food for thought for yourself. So sit back, enjoy, listen in.
Hey, this is Christina here, part of Team TSE, and something unexpected that hit me when we were learning astrology actually hit me when we were learning about the lunar nodes. I learned out that my south node is in Libra, right alongside my moon, and my north node, our life's path, our destiny, our growth in life, is in Aries. And that really, really stuck out to me. It was so unexpected, but also fit so well because I am surrounded by Aries people. I collect them. And my sister is an Aries. My brother is an Aries. My daughter is an Aries sun and Aries moon. My husband is an Aries. My closest friends to me are Aries and Sagittarius. It's just amazing to see why I identify so well with fire energy. When first looking at my chart, I saw nothing but water. I have a lot of Scorpio energy going on. I have a lot of mix of water and air. They mostly dominate that chart. But seeing why fire signs and Aries resonates with me, my sun is actually barely an Aries when I started looking into his chart. His sun is in Taurus by 1 degree. Astrology is so cool. It is amazing to see the connections that you find between yourself and you find with other people's charts that are close to you. That, I think, was the most unexpected and thrilling parts of taking astrology, and still gets me all the time. Every time I look at my chart or somebody else's chart, even if I've seen it a million times, I make another connection. Something else comes up. It's absolutely amazing. But that was the most unexpected part, to realize that my north node is Aries, and I'm collecting all these Aries people. I feel like they're helping to bring me towards my destiny, so to speak. I'm collecting the Aries and have to lead them on, like onward, with all that spark and creative and passionate energy. I feel like that's where a lot of my artistic things come from, all of that stuff. So it's amazing how the smallest little thing like that opens up a whole new world. And again, that's the best part of astrology. You just keep diving deeper and deeper and see more and more things. So I always encourage anybody who's learning astrology, keep an open mind. You never know what unexpected thing is going to come to you.
Hey there, Anna from the Sisters Enchanted here. I am the co-founder and real-life sister of Sarah here. And I'm here to say something that I found unexpected that I learned about myself from astrology. So I've learned a lot about myself from astrology. It has been a fascinating practice in my life and something that has really shed some light on some things about myself that I found to be super, super helpful. For me specifically, I always look to things like astrology and tarot and use them in a way that doesn't make me focus on the negative, but I use them as tools for growth and to shed a light and be able to wear a clear lens on a subject. So for me, I will say one of the most fascinating things I've learned about myself through astrology, and really came to light even more from our webinar we had recently about health, wealth, and relationships in astrology, is that I have a Capricorn moon, and I've talked about that before in the spectrum of the Sisters Enchanted and talking astrology. And that placement of your moon is really hard, and you can get a lot of boundaries and appear to be very cold or off-putting or standoffish when you have a Capricorn moon. And on a surface level, I am very much a lot of those things. I seem kind of cold or resistant to people who care for me. It can be really hard for me to have, to hug somebody back when somebody wants to hug me. It can be really hard for me even to say I love you too to somebody. And learning about my Capricorn moon has made it so that I can be very vigilant about those times when I can tell that somebody I really care for needs something from me, or when I get like an inkling in my head that maybe I do really need a good hug or something, that I'm able now to speak up and say that I need that, when in the past I may have shot that kind of feeling down. Not only that, but I've learned a lot about myself in relationships with the fact that I have Taurus over my 7th house, and that's my relationship house. And that even though I have the tendency to be standoffish or appear to be cold or not know how to have a really in-depth emotional exchange, that I really desire comfort from other people, and that I really desire to have a safe, structured, loving, comfortable, cozy relationships. And to be able to kind of bridge that gap and knowing that somewhere deep down I really want one thing and that it's just not on my forefront of my mind, I'm able to better, like I said just a few seconds ago, advocate for what I need. And I think that that's really important, because we all need a hug sometimes. We all need words of affirmation sometimes. We all need somebody to listen. And if your boundaries are so high, or you're so separated from what you need emotionally sometimes, you don't realize that you need to ask for something when you really super duper need it. So I will say that something that is really surprising for me that I've learned about myself from astrology is that I do need more support than I think I do. And that when I have a little inkling in the back of my mind that says like, hey, Anna, you need a really good hug right now. Or, your spouse needs a really good hug right now. Or your son needs a really good hug right now. That I'm now able to notice it better and then actually act on it. And I will say that it has had the most effect, especially on myself, because I'm not one to go out and ask for a hug or something like that. And now when I feel like I need one, I can put my boundaries aside and my little bit of sarcastic emotional blanket and actually say like, I really need a hug right now, or I really need you to listen to me right now, when that's something that maybe I wouldn't have done before because I had too big of boundaries to do it. So that's something that I found surprising about myself, is that when I actually started listening to myself, by knowing what I found in my chart, I was able to better advocate for myself and my needs, and to know what my needs were and how to look for them. So that's it. Thanks for listening.
Hey everyone, I wanted to share what was most unexpected to me when learning about astrology. I'm still pretty new to it, but I think the biggest thing that surprised me was learning that I'm more than just my sun sign, which is your typical look in the newspaper, the date that you're born, this is your horoscope, that's your one zodiac sign that you are supposed to relate to and it's supposed to know all about you. That's not the case, as I've come to find out. I never really related to my sun sign, which is Pisces. It just didn't sound like me, and it didn't really jive with a lot of my motivations and how I think and how I interact in areas of my life. So I think the most unexpected thing for me to learn about astrology is there's multiple planets. There's more than just a sun sign. There are planets that are across all the zodiac signs that just bring out stronger or weaker points of those energies in my own personality. So I actually learned a lot more about myself and how to cater to those strengths and weaknesses in certain areas like work, relationships, organization, how I look at time, how I look at how other people act. I actually am starting to understand that there's a much more bigger complex web of how astrology impacts our lives and our actions and what we see out in the world, much more beyond, hey, what's your birthday? Here's your one zodiac sign. We are so much greater than just that. And astrology is really helping me plan my days as the moon moves through the zodiac signs. It's also really helping me understand myself. And I know that I'm going to react a certain way to certain situations. So it's something that I can work on, or I know certain days that I might be more receptive to new ideas over others. It's just an incredible tool, and I'm really looking forward to learning more. But I think, my most unexpected idea or a bit of knowledge that came with astrology is really understanding we're a lot more complex. We are more than just the one sign. We are all of them. And it's really unexpected to me to know that, oh, hey, there's actually a lot more factors that are playing into me and how I can interact with those factors. It's really empowering, actually, to learn that. So that is what I have for you. And I really hope that you are able to really dive into astrology more as well. It's pretty exciting. I'm going to dive into it a lot more myself.
It's Sarah here, founder of the Sisters Enchanted. What I learned that was unexpected about me from learning astrology and diving into my birth chart was all around my 6th house. So there's a lot of things in my birth chart that I was like, that kind of makes sense. I can see that. But when I really dove into understanding the 6th house, and my 6th house is in Sagittarius, or Sagittarius is my 6th house, and I have a stellium, which means I've got five planets in there. One of those is Saturn, and Saturn does not like Sagittarius energy. And the 6th house is traditionally ruled by Virgo, which is very orderly. And my Sagittarius self, I am not orderly at all. So what I really learned is that I have this constant give and pull between wanting to be supportive, take care of everybody, but also needing time for myself, and then also needing structure, but thwarting structure. And it's just, I can see it in myself every day where it's this constant yin and yang and this pulling back and forth. And I think learning that in astrology really helped me to just understand that about myself and see that on any moment of the day I could be running full steam ahead or trying to make the world's longest to-do list, and then figure out how we're going to get it done, and really just releasing into that, because the more I try to push against one way of being and be more the other way, the more frustrated I become. So just understanding that that's part of myself, that there is that push and pull, and when I'm pulled one way, push the other, just to feel into it, let it go. And having that realization, learning that about myself through astrology has been so helpful, and just accepting me as I am and loving myself as I was born. All right, that's it for me.
What have I learned about myself from astrology? Loads. I think recently one of the most interesting things has been in our family, myself and my children that are all growing up now, in that we all are so much fire, which is very evident in our household, both in kind of firiness in terms of frustrations, but also because we are already creative and we all kind of have big ideas and we're all excited about things. And sometimes I think we lack a bit of grounding, all of us. Which I knew about myself, but seeing it in all of our charts. And interesting particularly is Leo, in that my eldest daughter and I both have Leo ascendants, and my other two have Leo as their sun sign. So obviously at times we're all kind of wanting to be the leader, and we are a bit of a family of leaders without many followers, particularly. It has been quite interesting and quite difficult at times. And so it's given us all that understanding of that. And also my eldest daughter and I, it's really interesting because we have the same ascendant, and every single house through the chart is ruled by the same sign. So I did her chart for her just recently. She's finally got interested in astrology. We were able to talk about how quite often in every single situation we can see the very best
of ourselves in each other, and sometimes the worst of ourselves in each other, because of course we're seeing the same sign that that rules our house dominating their behavior in that situation as well. So therefore we are seeing our shadow selves in each other all the time. So some of how the tensions that we have between each other is very much kind of our battle with our shadow self, which is great because it means we really see our shadows. It's easy for us to see our shadows and see what we need to work on, but also it can cause some tension because none of us like seeing our shadows. That was really, really interesting, and we talked quite a lot about that, and we talked about some examples where we have seen the best and worst of ourselves in each other. So that was really, really interesting, and that was just quite recent. But like I learned about myself from astrology daily, which is just like so exciting.
Thank you so much for listening in to this episode of the Magic on the Inside podcast. It is so fun hearing from everybody here at Team TSE, the Sisters Enchanted. We always have a great time working together to bring amazing information, lessons, community, courses your way. One of those courses is our Expedition Astrology program, where our teachers Anna, Sarah, and Nick they're driving that ship and teaching everybody all about the stars and the planets and what it means for them and those in their lives or people they might want to read for if they have ambitions to be astrologers. We do have sort of a last call enrollment on our Expedition Astrology program. It is getting a big makeover, and when we re-release it, that tuition rate is going to be going up. So I highly recommend, if it's been on your to-do list, to check out our Expedition Astrology program. You check it out, get your patootie in there. We'd love to have you. Let us know if you have any questions. You can find all the information at thesistersenchanted.com/Expedition Astrology. So until next time, my friends, I hope that you enjoy learning more about yourself through astrology and all that we've brought you this week, and that you have an enchanted rest of your day ahead.